plays. They put him in, run some offensive plays again in that triple option. And that's really where he was able to kind of thrive and kind of step up, maybe where you weren't really expecting him on offense. He's very good playing that deep safety spot. And when you have those 5 defensive backs, you got to have that rover, which is really what the position is called in a 4-2-5. You have the rover kind of playing in the back because you really have to cover a lot of ground as that deep defensive back. You got to have speed, but you also got to come up and hit kind of like Ronnie Lott back there in the secondary for the 49ers.
You know, that safety is almost a hybrid type linebacker. He's got to be able to put his head in there and knock. So that looks like they got a first down, Nathan.
Rutland with a first down, 2 plays and a first down for the Rutland Hurricanes. So they're off to a good start on this drive, and we'll see. We're going to see. We talked about adjustments earlier on in the season as well. How will each team adjust? And tonight so far, it looks like the Golden Bears are going to have to do some adjusting here after the first drive. Rutland picks up a first down here. They have some big bookend tackles on that offensive line, and we'll see if the Golden Bears can get some pressure and stop that rushing game for the Hurricanes.
You know what Rutland looks like they're doing too? They're putting trips left. It looks like they want to kind of take a few guys out of the box and hand it to the fullback up the middle.
And Tristan, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's just see if they do that this time.
Absolutely. Tristan Thompson, the quarterback for the Hurricanes in the shotgun formation. And again, trips to the left side, 4 wide receivers for the Hurricanes. Thompson takes the snap, and he's going to hand it off to Phelps again. But there's Hunter Hawk. Man, what just fills that gap. And as a linebacker, your primary responsibility is read and fill the gap. And that's exactly what you need. And Bo Maxwell in there for the Golden Bears as well.
Yep. And they're staying in this no huddle too, Nathan, which kind of throws a little bit at you. You know, you got to get ready quick and be ready for the snap. So they got a 2nd and 7. Let's see what goes. What happens here.
It's also risky to go the up tempo, especially against a team that holds the possession so much in the Golden Bears. You don't want to turn it over quick, give it back to your defense. And this time Thompson's going to keep it up the left side, and he's going to get tackled. And Landon Cardian comes in with the tackle for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, he laid a good lick on the quarterback that time. Looked like the quarterback faked the dive play and kept it and went around the end. Gained maybe a couple, so it looks like it's going to bring up a 3rd and 4, you think?
Yeah, they say 5 on the scoreboard. I would say it's probably closer to 4.5.
Yep.
But again, 4 wide receivers. This time they split bottom of the screen and top of the screen here for the Hurricanes. Thompson shotgun formation, and he's going to hand it off to Phillips. Lowers that shoulder. My goodness. Jesse Phillips lowers the shoulder and gets hit by Ronnie Williams in the secondary. Young sophomore coming up to make the hit for the Golden Bears. So Rutland moving the football, and this is what we talk about. It's on the road, and Rutland has improved under first-year head coach. There was a whole thing on the local news and this coach is a winner now, and he knows how to come in and win football games. He has a past of winning state championships as a coordinator and a coach, and he knows how to win. And we know Rutland has had some issues in the past. And good tackle again. Thompson goes down. He's going to get hit. He's going to get hit originally by Griffin McInnes from that defensive line spot, and it is going to be holding. So he takes a pretty good hit there from McInnes, but it is negated regardless, and it'll be a holding 10-yard penalty on the Hurricanes, and that'll back them up. There's a big opportunity now for the Golden Bears coming in here, first down in a long situation. Maybe you send some pressure early on and put them back. Now you're in a 2nd and 20, 2nd and 25 situation. That's really difficult for a run-heavy team to get out of.
Yeah, absolutely right. It looks like they'll have to do something in the air coming up here pretty quick.
We haven't seen them throw yet, and it's been a run. It's been run-heavy as so far, really for both teams, which we expect for the Golden Bears.
They've got a country mile for a first down.
First down and 23 after the holding penalty in the backfield. Thompson, shotgun formation. Quick pass out to the flats and almost had a chance. And Landon Cardian in there once again. Tall, lanky defensive back and wide receiver out there. He might have had a chance to pick that one off in the flat as well on the errant throw. So now if you're Rutland, you throw on first down. And now you're really in trouble because now you got 2nd and 23, and that puts your backs up against the wall after that holding call.
You know, Landon is also a very good basketball player also.
And I look forward to watching him play basketball because you're about the third or fourth person that's told me that he's a baller on the court.
Yes.
So that's definitely something to watch out for this winter as well. And the halfback draw will go to Phillips again. He gets hit by a couple of different Golden Bears. And Griffin McInnes in there again. My goodness. A couple of big hits there from McInnes. And third down and, as you said before, a country mile here for the Hurricanes, as Rutland has put themselves in a tough spot here in their own territory, about their 31-yard line with 3:35 and counting here in the first quarter. It is going to be 3rd and 23. And again, one deep defensive back here for the Golden Bears. He's going to roll out to the right, does Thompson. Short pass, and it just gets – almost looks like the running back just kind of hit it to the ground there. It kind of set up a half screen type of rollout to the flat type of play to Royal Tyson was out there trying to get that football. And in coverage, of course, was Hunter Hawk from that middle linebacker spot. You get manned up on that running back. The middle linebacker does a lot of the time. And that time he was out in the flat and covered him pretty well. Rutherford Gregory back to punt for the Hurricanes. Gregory Rutherford, excuse me, back to punt for the Hurricanes. Snap is good. Punt low, line drive, kind of a short kick, and you might just want to let that go. And they do. Jack Felton was back there to receive it. But the Golden Bears are going to start with good field position at their own 31-yard line after kind of a short punt, but nonetheless switches the field just a little bit. And we have first down and 10 here to go for the Golden Bears. 3:12 left on the first quarter. We'll see what the next methodical drive here for Holy Innocents on the offensive side of the football.
Looks like the Bears have called a timeout, Nathan.
So first timeout, kind of a muggy night down here in Macon. A muggy, hot night in Georgia. 89 degrees out tonight. So we talked about it in the first couple weeks as well. Gatorade galore. As my when I was back at one of my old jobs, they always used to say, get the orange slices, eat the bananas, drink the Gatorade, and that's kind of what you have to do on a night like this. A lot of substitutions, but again, that also wears out the defense going against the Golden Bears.
That offense will just wear you down all night long, and you're thinking, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, 2 drives, and the first quarter is almost over with. We got 3:12 left in the first, and the Bears are on their second possession. And let's see what happens.
That's about as methodical as it gets. But look, if you're effective that way, that's the way you got to play. You work to what you have on your team. You're only as good. You're only as good as your players and coaches as well. We've already seen a big improvement year 1 to 2, now 2 to 3. And Coach Winter's making a big improvement as well. Felton's going to get the sweep on the right side. He's going to go out really wide and tiptoe the sideline, and they're going to mark him out around the 36, maybe 37-yard line. So a gain of about 6 yards on first down by Jack Felton. And we talk about him getting involved in the offense a little bit as well. And there he is. His first carry of the game goes for 6 yards on first down, brings up a 2nd down and 4.
They're stacking that box too. They've got a lot of men in there.
How soon do you call a play-action deep pass to maybe a Landon Cardian or a Tyquan Alexander, maybe somebody on the outside?
I feel it
break
coming.
Up that offense.
I feel it coming.
And it looked like a quarterback keeper there by Matt Davis.
Yep.
It is. He's going to get a couple yards. He kind of falls forward for maybe 2 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and, again, manageable. And Marquez Stallings, the defensive back, on the tackle for the Hurricanes. So again, 3rd down and manageable. We're just approaching 2.5 minutes here on the first quarter clock.
This is what a triple option offense likes to do to you. Get you in 3rd and 1, and you're basically defenseless.
And here it is again. Davis under center. Give it to Cox, the up back. He breaks the tackle. Swim moves another one and finally gets brought down in Hurricane territory down to the 46-yard line. A big carry from Michael Cox. And Ja'Cory Jackson is going to bring him down, and that's a size disadvantage there for the Hurricanes. That's a freshman on a senior, and that's Michael Cox coming at you with his head down.
And once he gets a full head of steam, he's very hard to stop.
And again, he breaks that one a little bit outside and breaks a couple of tackles. And now once again, the Golden Bears inside Hurricane territory from the 45-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 once again. Man in motion. Davis going to drop back. This is where he's going to go deep. He has a man down the right sideline and just couldn't quite. And that was Tyquan Alexander. Just couldn't quite come up with that football. Kind of led him. It looks like Davis kind of threw that ball to the outside shoulder. And Tyquan may have been looking on the inside shoulder. Kind of got turned around right on the sideline and just couldn't quite bring that one in. But a good chance there on first down. Jaquavis Ellington was a defensive back in coverage on Tyquan Alexander. We saw Tyquan's speed earlier on this season too. He broke a couple of big runs in the opener as well, and he just has track speed when he gets to the outside.
When you've got a back like that in a triple option offense, it's unstoppable.
It's thunder and lightning in the backfield. And
yes.
Oh, what a move by Davis. And he just about breaks that one, kind of an in and out step down inside the 40 down to around the 37-yard line. So a big gain on second down. It'll be third down and around 3.
And you know when Tyquan gets the ball on the outside, nobody's going to catch him.
Yeah, he just turned on the jets. I mean, you could literally, you could watch it and see him just kind of flip the switch and just go to another gear when he hit the outside and just kind of kept pushing.
Here we go again, fans, that 3rd and 2 situation.
I think you go to your bell cow here, Michael Cox, and they do. My goodness, just lowers that shoulder. They needed 2. And they got about 3 or 4. Jalen Jones, a defensive lineman, had the fun duty of stopping Michael Cox running full speed with his head down. And it'll be another first down for the Golden Bears.
And you know, Nathan, it just becomes demoralizing when they just keep going inside and inside. All of a sudden they pop one outside, and you don't know where the ball's going next.
And that's the hardest part. If you watch Georgia Tech or you watch Army or you watch some of these college teams that run the triple option. Tennessee, I remember played Georgia Tech a couple of years ago in a kickoff game. And here's Davis on the right side, makes a couple of guys miss. Matt Davis with a great run. He's going to bounce it outside and get thrown down out of bounds for a first down again for the Golden Bears as they just continue to move the chains. Methodical, and it's different people. It's Michael Cox, it's Matt Davis, and Ja'Cory Jackson once again on the stop for the Hurricanes. But when Georgia Tech was playing Tennessee, I remember watching the game, and in the second half you could just see Tennessee's defenders with their hands on their hips and just thinking,
what are we going to do?
Like, this is just, I'm so worn out that because you just don't know where it's coming from. Multiple directions, multiple backs, and multiple different kinds of plays and looks. It's just very, very hard to stop if it's run effectively. So first down for the Golden Bears, under 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. And it looks like the movement in the backfield draws a flag, and it's going to be on the defense. So that'll move the Golden Bears 5 yards closer to the end zone. Bring up first down and 5 for Davis and the offense. So stops the clock again, 24 seconds left on the first quarter clock. Golden Bears looking to put themselves up 14-0 here late in the first quarter, early into the second quarter. So Felton, Davis, Cox, and Leighton Dixon, the 4 in the backfield. Dixon in motion. Now he'll stand behind Cox, and they give it to the up back. I know Davis keeps it right side, makes a guy miss, stiff arm, runs into the end zone. Matt Davis with another touchdown for the Golden Bears as they go up 13-0, pending the extra point. What a run by Matt Davis.
You know, I was fooled like the cameraman. I thought the fullback had it.
Well, you heard me. I thought he gave it to the up back as well.
And there he goes, Matt Davis around the end.
I got to learn. I got to learn to just wait a second when I'm watching this triple option because you just never know who has the football.
No, you don't. Okay, got Peter Weinke on for the extra point again. And the Bears are up 13-0 with 5 seconds left in the first quarter.
Number 16, Peter Weinke, home for the extra point try.
And Weinke, snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and right through the uprights it goes. 14-0. The Golden Bears on top of the Rutland High Hurricanes, and as we visit kind of last year's game, right? It was a 49-7 victory back at Ridgeview High School, and it's one of those things where, you know, it's a different team, but if you're Holy Innocent, you want the same result. You want to come on the road. It's a hot, muggy night, like you said, 90 degrees tonight, and you never know what can happen on the road. It can be a very tricky place, and we know that this is a different team. They have a different mindset, so you just want to come in tonight and do exactly what they're doing. 2 possessions in the first quarter, and they're up 14-0.
Well, you also want to be, clicking on all cylinders, because next week you got a showdown with Eagles Landing Christian. They're number 1 in the state, so we're going to try to knock them off and gain supremacy in single A private. And
they haven't won. I don't think they've lost a region game. They've lost one region game maybe since 2011, I think, something like that. So obviously they are the class of the region, and so as Ric Flair once said, to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Absolutely.
And so nothing better, and you get them at home, and so that's the way it lines up.
That's a big factor.
And the kickoff, low line drive, spinning to the side kick, and that's going to go out of bounds. We'll draw the flag, and Rutland is going to get some good field position to start this drive.
You know, it seems like Rutland's main play is that fullback dive. Seems to get a few yards, but then they'll get a penalty, kind of shoot themselves in the foot. And that's what the Bears like to do. They get you backed up, they pin their ears back, and they go after you.
And, you know, as we said, Rutland has been able to move the ball a little bit. Again, they have those big bookend tackles, and you can see 75, the right tackle, Wispy Keandre, only a sophomore.
Wow.
My goodness. And
yes.
that's where you think that's where you got to run the football. I mean, they have some size on that offensive line. And we'll see what happens here on this drive. They were able to move it, but Holy Innocents was able to come up with a big stop. So,
Yep.
So Tristan Thompson again back in the shotgun formation. This time they pack it in just a little bit. 2 wide receivers, 1 on each side, with Phelps as the running back. And this time they're going to hand it off to the wide receiver who comes in motion, puts his head down. Great 2-man tackle from Bo Maxwell and Moreland Bell coming up and making the tackle right at the line of scrimmage, maybe even a loss of a yard or 2. Good defensive pressure, and that'll end the first quarter as Holy Innocents up 14-0 on the road at Rutland High, looking to go to 3-0 for the first time in quite a while. Very successful start to the season so far.
You know, the great product of running the triple option is we run this in all the teams in the football program. So from middle school up to the varsity, everybody runs the same offense. And by the time these middle schoolers get to the varsity level, they know how to do this offense perfectly. And the thing about it is it's hard to practice for the triple option in 1 week. And especially with the weather restrictions we've had about practicing indoors and not even putting on pads, a lot of teams are going to suffer having to try to defend this triple option.
And it's hard to defend in the first and second quarter, but it's even harder to defend in the fourth quarter. If it's a close game in the fourth quarter, that's when Holy Innocents can take over. That's when that punishment of Michael Cox and Matt Davis in the backfield can really kind of take over in the fourth quarter on the road, especially like this. So
absolutely.
3 possessions. 2.5 possessions, if you want to call it that, for Rutland in the first quarter. They moved the football, but we're unable to kind of get into any type of scoring territory. They got held back by a couple of penalties, and as we mentioned, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Golden Bears, and that's where we stand right now, 14-0. Holy Innocents leading Rutland here as we start the second quarter of play.
Got a tight end trips left. Quarterback is scrambling.
And Thompson goes down with some defensive pressure. And that was Griffin McInnes again for the 3rd or 4th time already tonight. We've called his name in the backfield. And that was a coverage sack as well. They didn't have the first or second option. You saw Thompson in the backfield. He was kind of going through his progressions, and he just couldn't quite find anybody open. So that's called an entire defensive sack there as the defensive line gets the pressure. The back end of the secondary holds their ground, and down goes Thompson. It'll bring up 3rd down and 15, another 3rd down and a long shot here for the Hurricanes.
And they're in that tight end trips, and it looks like the wide receiver closest to us jumped. So that's going to be a 5-yard penalty on the Hurricanes. But they're trying to trick somebody in the secondary with the tight end trips.
And it looks like they don't even get to run that play. They had some space up the middle on that play now. So that's one that you circle if you're the coach and say, let's go back to that here in just a little bit, see if we can work some magic with that. But again, the Golden Bears get a break here on defense. Once again, it's going to be 3rd down and 20. 3rd down and 20 for the Hurricanes of Rutland High. And the Holy Innocents has a task in front of them here as it looks like size advantage on defense, especially those cornerbacks. Cardian and Dixon out there have a size advantage. They're going to hand it off to Phelps. He's just going to run it, and they're going to play it safe here. And it'll be 4th down in a while. Spencer Getz in there on the tackle. We've mentioned his name a couple of times on defense as well. Spencer Getz in there on the tackle for the Golden Bears. It'll be 4th down for the Hurricanes once again as they will have to punt from their own territory for the 3rd straight possession.
And there's that situation they like to get you in, the Bears. 3rd and 20 rather. They know you're going to pass. They play the pass. They pin their ears back with their linebackers and their linemen and go after you. Very effective.
And once again, Hurricanes back to punt. High snap, but he goes up and gets it almost blocked. Punter tries to sell the roughing the kicker. No call. Ball will go out of bounds at around the 37-yard line. And once again, the Bears. Oh, there's a flag on the backside of the play here. The referees are kind of discussing it right now, but as of right now, before the penalty, the Golden Bears will take over at their own 37-yard line with, once again, good field position to start a drive. Seems to be a discussion near 45-yard line here from the referees. We'll have to see what they call. And he is going to come out here, head referee. Let's see what he calls and who it's on. Personal foul on the Hurricanes. On the punt. So you don't see that necessarily very often, but nonetheless, it would be a 15-yard penalty.
And that could be anything from a push in the back, a trip. They really didn't give any signal of what the actual personal foul was.
And they go back to discuss it again, but if it's a 15-yard penalty, the Golden Bears are going to have fantastic field position. They're going to start inside the Hurricane territory if it's a 15-yard penalty. They go over and talk to Coach Winter here to try to explain, see if we can get a decision as to what exactly is going on and where they will start.
You know, Rutland came into this game 1-1. They're much improved. They beat Hawkinsville last week rather, and then they lost their home opener to Houston County.
Personal foul against the Hurricanes.
So
This was a penalty, yes.
okay, he corrects himself. He pointed at the Golden Bears side for a penalty, and now he corrected himself and pointed at the Hurricanes.
Yes.
So the announcer said Hurricanes, so we're going to go with a 15-yard penalty on the Hurricanes as the official call. So I think this is where they'll mark off the extra 15. So, yep, they'll go from the 37 up just inside of midfield here. It looks like they're going to start around the 47, 48-yard line of the Hurricanes.
And what a gift that is for the triple option offense, only having to go 47 yards for a score. You don't want to start deep in your own territory in that kind of offense. It's hard to get out, but again, the way we grind it out between those tackles, we're gonna nickel and dime you all the way through.
And field position is key, right?
Yes.
Like you said, you're inside the 5-yard line. You get hit in the backfield one time. It's very difficult to get out of that position. So they get, like you said, they get gifted. So 15 extra yards, and they're going to start at the 47-yard line of the Hurricanes.
It was. That was the actual call. The referee did signal it was a push in the back.
So push in the back, and Rutland is going to call their second timeout as we are set to begin the it's kind of hard to think about this, the third drive up for the Golden Bears, and it's already in the second quarter. Just kind of crazy to think about, but we talk about the methodical offense, and they haven't even unleashed Tyquan Alexander on the outside yet. We haven't even seen Tyquan either. Leighton Dixon, another one we haven't seen on the offensive side of the football as well. So it looks like they will. Another timeout here. 3 possessions, 3 punts for the Hurricanes, riddled by penalties. We think they could possibly move the ball a little bit and keep some time of possession. But again, when this game gets into the second half, their defense is going to get tired. It's just inevitable.
Very tired. Yep.
It's just inevitable.
Your main body of players is working between the tackles all night, those linebackers and linemen, and all of a sudden you're asking them to play every play to their fullest, and they're out of energy. And
it's 5, 6, 7, 8-minute drives off the clock every time the Golden Bears get the football. So that just takes a toll on your body, especially when it's hot. And so we'll have to see as this game progresses. We'll revisit that a lot, I'm sure. It's a very important part of the game, especially in Georgia high school football in August and September when you get into these hot months before it starts to cool down.
Absolutely.
So 1st down and 10 for the Golden Bears. Davis, Cox, and Alexander in the backfield with Leighton Dixon.
They've got 8 guys in the box, Rutland does.
Christian Paget is the wide receiver out wide to the top of your screen.
James Gleason is your tight end.
And they're going to give it to Cox up the middle. They're ready for him, but it doesn't really matter because he just carries a couple of guys inside the 45 down to around the 43-yard line for a gain of 4 on 1st down. Kajian Searcy, the junior defensive lineman, comes up with the tackle for the Hurricanes. And watch out as Cardigan at the bottom of your screen. Big 6'4" target down here is the wide receiver. Alexander in motion. They're going to give it to him this time. His first carry of the game is going to go out wide. Wait for that blocker. Good lead block there from Leighton Dixon. But he gets caught from behind as Tyquan Alexander goes down. Good tackle from behind by Joseph Kreitzer. Comes up from his secondary spot for the tackle for the Hurricanes, but once again, 1st down, and with first glimpse of Tyquan on offense.
That was picture perfect, his run, too. He got behind his blocker, waited for the block to happen, and then cut off the block. That's what you want out of a running back.
It's a lot of patience when you're a runner, and a lot of people don't understand that. Patience and vision are very important as a running back / wide receiver.
Yep.
And he was able to kind of lead that blocker, put his hand right behind Leighton Dixon, and Dixon did a good job picking up the block. 1st down, Davis is going to keep it up the left side. Good in and out move and a great stiff arm carrying a defender by Davis. And he's going to get 9.5 there on 1st down. Jamarian Marshall is going to come up with the tackle back after about 8 or 9 yards. And they are going to give him 9 officially, so it'll be 2nd down. And once again, 2nd down and short for the Golden Bears as they're just moving that football, not in a rush at all. As we approach under 8.5 minutes now on the 2nd quarter clock.
And you just don't know who's going to get the ball next.
And you do have single coverage down here on the bottom of your screen as Landon Cardigan. We've mentioned they went to him they went a deep pass up the right sideline one time, and that was the Tyquan. So let's see if they get Cardigan involved on a deep pass here coming up. And Davis again, and they're going to pitch it to Dixon in the backfield. He's going to get some pressure. Good kind of team defensive pressure there from Rutland. And they come up, and Jamarco Hughes is going to come up with the senior defensive back is going to come up with the tackle. They tried to spread that wide, a little different look. One of the first options, the actual option in the option, triple option offense. They give it to Dixon. He goes wide. He does pick up the 1st down, which is the most important part.
You know, the thing about this offense, too, is if you find a play that works, you run it until they stop it, and you got so many more different things you can do off of that, so many more variables.
And Felton, Cox, Dixon in the backfield with Davis. Davis this time, he's going to keep it again and then pitch it out to Felton left side. Puts that shoulder down, gets brought down, but right at that 1st down marker, and I believe it's going to be another 1st down for the Golden Bears. Whole 1st quarter, they seem to go pound it up the middle, pound it up the middle, pound it up the middle, bounce it outside. Now they're bouncing it outside, bouncing it outside, bouncing it outside. And just wait, here's going to come Michael Cox right up the middle for a touchdown. at the end of this drive. That's what you have to be. That's what you have to be thinking is what's going to happen here at the end of this drive.
Well, they had 10 guys in the box that time and one out here covering Landon, and all of a sudden you pop it out wide and everybody's caught inside. So it was great blocking by the Bears.
So they don't pick up the first down, but they do get about 9.5. And Davis going to hand off to Cox right as we talked about, and he comes close inside the 5. All the way down to the 1 yard line goes Michael Cox. It'll be first and goal for the Golden Bears. You have to think, hurry up to the line and give it back to the big fella in the backfield and let him rumble into the end zone here for his second touchdown. And but the second timeout is going to be called by the Hurricanes. Interesting place for a timeout there on the goal, maybe trying for a goal line stand as the Hurricanes, but knocking on the door again are the Golden Bears and Michael Cox and Davis really making some plays with his feet so far in the first half.
And when you got a quarterback that's fleet of foot like that, it's so hard to really defend any of those backs, because what you do is you get caught in a one-on-one situation out wide, and then you're left having to defend also the fullback up the middle, and it really becomes a monotonous thing over and over and over.
It's pick your poison.
And what happens is the defense will lose responsibility, and that's when those big gaps open and they take it all the way.
Yep, and you that's exactly right. I mean, it's almost taking the words right out of my mouth. You said it perfectly, is that who are you going to stop? Do you stop the speedy quarterback who's running on the outside, who's pretty much been running very effectively all night long, or do you try to stop the all-state selection in the backfield? The all-state selection in the backfield who runs over guys to get into the end zone. I mean, you just kind of have to pick your poison.
It's flip a coin.
That's exactly right. So far, they haven't landed on heads or tails, has Rutland so far. So we'll see. First down and goal from the 1 yard line for the Golden Bears. Cox in the backfield is the deep back. Davis under center. And a stoppage of play here. And they're going to call a false start, and that could be a little bit of a kill. That's one of those penalties. Even though you've been running pretty effectively all night, that's going to back you up a couple of yards, back you up 5 yards. But you're that close to the goal line, those kind of frustrate you if you're Coach Winter.
You're absolutely right. You don't want to put yourself in a bad position with the triple option offense. You're clicking, don't do anything wrong, and just put it in the end zone.
So now first down and goal from around. Has a 5 on the scoreboard, but it looks like it's more like the 7 or 8 on the field. So it'll be first down and goal from the 7 yard line. And Dixon goes in motion. That's the second time.
Looks like they'll get it right back.
That's the second time that has happened to that Hurricane defensive line. As soon as Dixon goes back there, he goes in motion and he stops real quick and kind of runs in place, and it makes that defensive line jump. Coach Eason's got to be just scratching your head on those. Those are the ones that just frustrate the stew out of you if you're a coach.
Yep. You had them backed up. Now you've given it right back to them.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And first down and goal once again back at the 1. We haven't run a play yet, but we'll see here is Davis. He's going to hand it off, and into the end zone goes Hunter Hawk. So Hunter Hawk with his second carry of the game, first touchdown.
And you'll have Peter Wanke coming on for the extra point. Bears are up 20-0 with 6:44 left in the half. And doing what they do. Wear you down, wear you down, wear you down.
And just another methodical drive. They haven't been tackled in the backfield the entire night. They've gotten positive yards on every single play they've ran on offense so far in the first half, and that just shows you how dominant that offensive line is, as Wanke's extra point is up and good. Perfection for Wanke all season. And just like that, again, we talked about it, 21-0. Holy Innocents, and you want to talk about a start to a season, and they're about as in check with each other right now as they have been in a long time. And you know, I'm new to the area, new to the program, but this team's they look pretty good on the offensive side of the football. You know, on the defensive side, they've gotten some plays. They were up 21-0 last week before kind of letting them come back into it a little bit. And that was a game last year, if I'm not mistaken. That was a game last year that Holy Innocents lost 38-14.
Yeah, and we were up at one time. They had a good quarterback that passed all over the field. But you know, the thing about the triple option offense it's going to gain positive yards every time. The only negative yards you're going to have is on a penalty.
Yep.
And we've had, what, 2 of those? 1 of those?
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the only negative yardage we've had all night.
And it's gonna, if they can keep that up, especially heading into next week. You don't want to look ahead of this game, obviously. Finish this game off strong, go home, celebrate, have a good week of practice, right? But next week is a game you circle and you say, that's the game that we that's the measuring stick. That's the measuring stick.
Yes.
So Holy Innocents will kick off once again to Rutland. Good kick all the way back inside the 5. They're going to let it bounce into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. And they will take over possession. Here does Rutland once again.
And, you know, you're right on the measuring stick with Eagles Landing Christian. That they feasibly could beat anybody in any classification in Georgia high school. Last year we played them really tough, and we just wore down a little bit. But, again, this year is a different team, bigger, stronger, faster. That off-season weight program has really paid dividends for Coach Winter and his troops.
His final score last year was 48-14 to Eagles Landing Christian. It doesn't really tell the story. I've been told the game was a lot closer than that until it kind of got away in the second half a little bit. But
it got away late.
It got away late, and so they look to kind of, you keep it close, you're going to be in the football game. And that's one, make sure you stay tuned to the Golden Bear Network, obviously, next week, and we'll make sure we have that game for you as well. They give it to Phelps right up the middle, almost breaks it. Maybe a touchdown-saving tackle there by Bo Maxwell, the defensive back for the Golden Bears. And Phelps had a little bit of a lane there, put his head down. Kind of looked like Michael Cox there for a little bit out of the backfield.
As strong as we are on offense, this defense is so good this year. So much improved. Like I said, bigger, stronger, and faster. And that's going to help.
And here's Phelps again. Makes a couple of guys miss, but then gets gang tackled right at the 29. Maybe he gets up to the 30-yard line, going to be close, and Jack Felton's going to come up from that rover spot and make a big tackle.
You know, when you're talking about this weightlifting program, too, it pays dividends in the fact that your kids stay healthy, they don't get injured as much, and that is so big in single-A football when you're down the stretch, that 7, 8, 9 game, when you're trying to keep bodies healthy and trying to get to that playoff home game.
Thompson with the snap once again. This time he's going to keep it, overthrows his receiver, and my goodness, he had him wide open down the middle of the field. And Thompson had Christian Golden, the junior wide receiver. He had 2 different guys beat on the Golden Bear defense and just overthrows him. Maxwell was back deep in coverage for the Golden Bears. And my goodness, and you can tell as the wide receiver there, as Christian Golden was coming back to the sideline, he was clapping his hands and jumping up and down. He wanted that one because he wanted that 70-yard touchdown to put them on the board.
He did. He got behind it. We got jet motion here.
And Phelps once again is going to dive forward. Good low tackling. Lowest man wins. That's the old adage here in football. And looks like William Willis coming up to make the tackle for the Golden Bears.
It's good to see William back, Nathan. He had an ankle injury that happened in the preseason scrimmage, and I tell you what, it looked like he had a softball on the side of that ankle. But to see him back in action, that's just a great lift for this defense.
Yeah, listed as a starter, obviously coming into the season, and then picked up that ankle injury, as you said. And so, very good to have him back, and especially heading into next week. We talk about that a lot. We're going to keep repeating that because it's such a big game in the season. We want to be full strength. You want to have your full squad ready for that game next week. 5 minutes left here, 3rd and 7 for the Hurricane offense. Low snap. Thompson comes up with it, tries to escape the pocket, and then gets hit hard from behind. And that was Hall O'Neal, the 2-way lineman for the Golden Bears. Gets a good lick on Tristan Thompson there in the backfield.
You talk about a player that's come into his own. Hall O'Neal, he has gotten so big, so strong, and just seems to dominate on the defensive line. So good for you, Hall.
Great tackle, good hit. You always love, if you're a defensive lineman, I played outside linebacker, you love getting those licks on the quarterback. That makes your whole night right there. But
absolutely.
Rutland back once again to punt the football.
Jack Felton is back deep.
And low snap again, gets it off, and this time he's going to run into the punter, and that's going to draw a flag. And they came close the last time. No call. This time, a little bit closer. and Rutland's going to get a second chance on offense.
You know, and I don't think that's running into. That could be roughing. So I'm not sure of the rule in high school, whether there's a running into and a roughing, but it might just be a 5-yard penalty. So let's see what the refs are going to do here.
Because it was 4th down and 5, so if it's only a 5-yard penalty, it's going to be right at that marker. And
it was a 5-yard penalty.
So they might have to, I don't know, you might have to bring out the measurements for that one. That's right at that yard marker.
It is. It's going to be awful close.
Well, they call it a first down.
They did.
They give it a looks by the first down, and
it was. And when it's considered a first down on that, it's considered a personal foul. So it's roughing, not running into.
And Rutland's going to get a second chance here. And we talked about it again as Rutland kind of coming up with some penalties there to kind of back their offense up. Now the Golden Bears give Rutland another opportunity on the offensive side of the football, and their defense once again is going to have to step up. Thompson, shotgun formation, is going to run the option, fake the pitch, cut it back upfield, and get hit by 2 or 3 different Golden Bears. I know Landon Cardian was in there, and William Willis, we talked about him. He's in on the tackle as well.
You know, this is the status quo for our Bears. They get up 3 touchdowns or so by the end of the half. They force you to do things that you don't normally want to do, and then that puts you in mistake territory. So they've got you where they want you. We got 3:22 left in the half, and Rutland's quarterback is still in gun with a pistol back behind him.
And he takes the snap. He'll hand it off to Phelps once again. Gets to around the 44-yard line, so a gain of about 1. And he gets gang tackled. Hunter Hawkman there at the bottom of the pile with a couple of other guys. Spencer Getz looked to be in there as well.
Looks like they burned a timeout. Or no, they're just going to call the play from the sideline, actually. They kind of huddled over there at the sideline and run on.
They did. It almost looked like it. And third down, a big third down here. You want to give enough time for your triple option offense to come down to the field and possibly get another touchdown before halftime. So big third down here for Rutland. Thompson, shotgun formation, and Phelps is going to go down almost immediately. And that was Willis in there again on the tackle. And Sam Aiken coming up. First time we've mentioned Sam Aiken's name tonight, coming up and helping with the tackle as well. So it'll bring up 4th down and around 3, maybe 2 or 3 yards.
You know, all these guys too they're multi-sport athletes. Sam Aiken is a pillar of the baseball team, and all these guys they wrestle, they play lacrosse, or they play baseball, and that's good to have multi-sport athletes on your squad.
And now we will have a Rutland timeout here. What do you do if you are Coach Eastham in Rutland here? You're 4th down and 3. I think you have to punt the football with only two minutes left on the clock. You've got to make the triple option offense go 70 yards, 65 yards in 2 minutes. You got to put that pressure on them. You don't give them a 47-yard field. We saw what they did the last time.
Well, as a coach, I look at it as, hey, I might not have but maybe 3 or 4 more possessions. So do we go ahead and risk it and try to get it first and try to get some momentum going into halftime, or do we punt it? But I think the question is answered now. It looks like they're going to put their punter back, and that's probably the smart thing to do, just because you don't want to go down 28-0. You want a shot in the second half. But again, with the Bears offense, the second half is what they own.
And we'll see what happens. You always got to be aware of this situation. And it looks like they're going to go.
Got a flag down.
Flag down before the snap. And I think it's going to be on Rutland. We'll wait for the official call here. And it's going to be false start on Rutland. Man, I just feel like they just got down in the formation. And it might have touched the football. I'm thinking the center maybe touched the football when they got down in their formation.
That is exactly what it was. The center lifted the football. And in high school football, you can't lift it. You can turn it and twist it, but you can't lift it off the ground.
And timely penalties are hurting Rutland. And now that offense, the quarterback Thompson really wanted to go for that 4th down. He comes off the field, takes his helmet off, and very upset. that they couldn't go for it. But again, timely penalties on Rutland really destroying a possible opportunity there on offense.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, with going against the Bears, you're not going to have a whole lot of opportunities.
High arcing kick, and Felton's going to fall to the ground, but he muffs it. And I think Rutland falls on the football, and they do.
Yeah, Jack Felton called for a fair catch, and it looked like he had to lunge forward just a little bit. And with these lights, that ball could get caught in the lights, and it's all over. So it looked like it fell right between his arms, and it looked like he had a good chance to get on it. But they had 2 Rutland guys right there, and one of them jumped on it. So we got 1st and 10 Rutland at the Bears 32.
So instead of a possible 28-0 outcome here in the first half, Golden Bears go right back on defense. They're going to have to play some more defense. The crowd a little fired up. They want some Rutland points here at home, and the Golden Bears going to have to step up big on defense, get some pressure in that backfield, and Phelps has really been the killer in the backfield for the Hurricanes. So we'll see what the Golden Bears can do on defense. And they fumble the snap. Thompson's going to try to run away with it, and he's going to get hit in the backfield and drugged down. Great defensive play to be right on the quarterback. And was that Landon Cardian again? And it was.
No, check that. Bo Maxwell.
You're right. But I thought I saw 16, and it was 19.
I did too.
So nonetheless, great play by Bo Maxwell being there. A rough play, and again, that clock is just a ticking. 1 minute, 25 seconds and counting now as Rutland, with their first possession in Golden Bear territory tonight, comes off the muff punt.
Going trips right. Gun trips right.
And Thompson, and a flag or a timeout, and a flag's going to be called.
And I tell you what that was that wide receiver on the far side. He thought he was going to be in the backfield on his alignment. Instead, he moved up to the line as the ball was being snapped.
He had a lot of people telling him here on the Rutland sideline what to do and where to go, and I think he just got confused and shuffled those feet a little bit, and another penalty on Rutland here in the first half.
Absolutely.
Brings them back now to their 41 of the Golden Bears. It'll be 2nd down and another country mile. 2nd down and 18 now for the Golden Bears.
And you know, when you're down 21-0, you can't make mistakes. You got to play a perfect game to get back in.
And Thompson will take the shotgun snap, facing some pressure, tries to step up in the pocket, a jump pass, and it's picked off. The Golden Bears up the right sideline. He's going to run out of bounds and get hit, and Ronnie Williams comes up with the big interception, and a jump pass by Thompson in the backfield just got flustered. And he throws a pick. That's not a place where you want to throw a high pass right in the middle of the football field. And Ronnie Williams was there to go up high and get it, and he gets chased out of bounds. So a final opportunity once again, just when you thought Golden Bears were going to have an opportunity, then Rutland gets an opportunity. Now the Golden Bears get another opportunity here to score before the half.
And you had Bo Maxwell right there too, so one of those 2 guys was going to come down with it, and good for Ronnie.
So they got 60 yards for a touchdown. They got 46 seconds to do it here in the first half.
Ronnie's actually the backup quarterback too.
And Davis under center. Alexander in motion, and quick pass, and just throws it a little too high for Cardian at the top of your screen.
I tell you what, if that would have been on the nose, that could have gone for a touchdown.
And you also had Taekwon coming in the flat as well, kind of that wheel route coming up the sideline. And he had the option to pitch it. Yeah,
looked like it might have been that hook and ladder.
And that could have been a dangerous play if Taekwon gets full speed and he hand him the football. He's gone for about 60 yards.
Yeah, there was nobody outside.
That's still something that you see as a coach and say, circle that play. We talked about it earlier. Circle that play because there's an opportunity there. So 43 seconds, 2nd down and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Davis throw it deep down the left sideline, and he throws it well wide of Cardian on near the out-of-bounds marker around the 45 of Rutland. And Jaquavis Ellington was the man in coverage for the Hurricanes. So they've only taken off about 10 seconds of the clock here, but it's 3rd down and 10, and the 2-minute drive not necessarily
one of their fortes.
What's best in the triple option, but you got to make something happen here with 3rd down and 10, and you think they maybe just run this football and let the time go to half, and they do. Swing half back to Alexander. He's going to make it up the sideline, and good gain there on 3rd down Tyquan Alexander, a pitch out to the left side from Davis. One step, you take one step as a quarterback, and you pitch it out to Alexander and just let the speedy man do his work out there on the sideline. Good blocking upfield as well. And Tyquan gets him down into Hurricane territory down to the other 40. So from one 40 to the other, a gain of 20, let's say 19 on the pitch.
Here's the bad news on that play. Tyquan comes up limping a little bit. So he's on the sideline over there, and he'll have the trainers tend to him. But in the meantime, that was a good gain. It was almost like a long pass, and it's going to give him a 1st and 10.
And Holy Innocents has their 3 timeouts as well. So Davis drops back, scrambles out to the right side, is going to try to throw it deep. Cardian going up for the football, gets dragged down out of bounds, and they're going to say incomplete as he falls out of bounds. Those two kind of had their hands going at each other, and again, Jaquavis Ellington, the man in coverage, he seems to be the #1 corner there for Rutland. He's been on Cardian most of this first half.
You know, the thing about Landon is he can dunk that basketball on the basketball court, so why not throw it up to somebody that can jump 10 feet in the air?
It's not a bad play at all.
He's at least probably 6 inches taller than the DB.
It's Calvin Johnson-esque is the mismatch a lot of the times. Played at Georgia Tech here.
Exactly.
And had that mismatch. And again, Cardian on the bottom of your screen is going to have single coverage, a much smaller defensive back, as you stated. And they're going to go to him once again. Beautiful spiral as Cardian falls back, and he falls out of bounds.
And he got that one. That was a reception. Yep, looks like they're giving it to him.
And the referee.
And Cardian's down.
Cardian hit the ground very hard on his back. Obviously, we hope that he is okay. And they're going to say it was a reception.
At the 17.
At the 17, so a big play for the Golden Bears, but an injury on the field, and you have to think his head maybe hit the ground. He was kind of fading back and tiptoeing back. His hands go up, and as he falls down to the ground, I think that head just kind of bounced off the ground.
You know, you're talking in Georgia high school. They've mandated a lot of new restrictions on the way we can hit to alleviate concussions. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but concussions happen when the head hits the ground. And that's exactly what it looked like happened to Landon. He fell on his back, and he had that little whiplash effect where the back of the head pops the ground. And he's up.
That's great news. He is up, and you have to think something like that is a concussion or a head injury, if nothing else, because he's walking off on his own power. But a lot of the times those you get shaken up, and in football nowadays you don't mess with stuff like that. You're gonna come off the field, and it's probably safe that he's not going to come back in the game if anything like that is wrong.
And a lot of fans don't know when a player comes off after signs of a concussion, he goes through protocol on the sidelines, and it has to be either a certified trainer or the team doctor that clears him to come back in the game. Now, when you're up 21-0 with one of your star receiver and one of your better DBs, you know, it might be good to kind of let him lay out a little bit, see if he gets his faculties back about him. And then, you know, put him back in if you need to, if the game gets close. But again, you're looking at once you get up, you're looking at the big showdown next week with Elka.
And that's you don't want to risk anything, like you said. You don't want to risk anything in a game like this if you continually have the lead like this. And they have a prime opportunity here. 13 seconds, all 3 of your timeouts. Davis can take a couple of shots. It does hurt not having your 6'4" receiver, especially in the red zone here, when you can just kind of toss it up and say, go get it, big fella.
Exactly.
But you're going to have to come up with maybe something creative here and see what happens. And we do see Donovan Johnson in the game, a big sophomore as well, so he has some speed and some size out there on the edge as well. We saw him the first game of the season as well, and Christian Paget, of course, the other wide receiver at the bottom of your screen.
And boy, Donovan has really solidified that defensive backfield too. Comes in, he can play wide receiver, he can play A-back, he can play B-back. He's played B-back too, so he plays a little bit of everything.
And Davis under center 13 seconds ago, takes the snap, going to roll out to the right side, throw it into the back of the end zone. That's going to go well out of bounds. And the clock stops at 7 seconds, so it takes about 6 seconds on the clock, and they try to hit Christian Paget in the back of the end zone, and it looks like Cardian on the sideline maybe getting ready to check back in. So he's talking to Coach, and he is. Landon Cardigan's going to come back in the football game, so it mustn't have been as serious as it looked, which is a good thing. That's what we want to hear, of course. And your big red zone threat back in the football game here on 2nd down and 10. You got 7 seconds to see if you can score this football.
Well, that's great news for the Bear Nation too.
Cardigan, the bottom of your screen, and they have safety help as well on Cardigan's side. Davis going to drop back, looking for Cardigan. 4-3, and they can't quite get it to Jack Felton at the front of the end zone. So we got 2 seconds left. A big stop for Rutland's defense.
Peter Wanke will come in for a field goal try.
That's good news here for the Bears because he's had a good leg all season long.
Yes.
And 24-0 would be a pretty good first half lead.
Points on the board with under a minute to go. That just puts everything in perspective for that offense.
And
that's going to be a 35-yarder, so that's going to test Wanke.
That's not a chip shot by any means.
Absolutely not.
Holder Marshall Nichols, All-State punter.
Actually, a lot of people don't know this about Marshall. He's ranked number 2 punter in the nation.
Wow. And Wanke back. The snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is dead.
Wide left.
Wide left.
Just a little bit.
Had a sideways spin on it, and I think he just hooked it right there. But nonetheless, 21-0. The Golden Bears leading the Rutland High Hurricanes here in Macon, Georgia. It is a 21-0 halftime lead. We'll take a break and come back after the band performance here at halftime.
Hey fans, we're back. Got your halftime score, 21-0 favor of the Bears. We got some scores from around the region of interest for single A private. Prince Avenue is up 28-0 on Providence Christian. St. Francis and Lakeview Academy are tied in the second quarter. Hebron and George Walton are tied. Actually, it's a weather delay. Pinecrest is up on Athens Christian 6-0, and they're in a weather delay. Washington Wilkes and Stratford Academy are tied in the first quarter 0-0. Lincoln County is up on Tatnall Square 12-0 in the second quarter. And First Pres and Hancock Central are tied 0-0 in the second. Whitfield Academy 13, Mount Pisgah 0. Walker and Fellowship are tied in the first quarter. Marion County is up on St. Anne Pacelli 21-0. Georgia Military is up 3-0 on Academy for Classical Education. And those are some of your scores from single A private around the region, brought to you by the Dixie Crystal Halftime Report, sponsored by DC Aiken. And the specialty players come back on the field for the Bears. Punters are already out loosening up. Marshall Nichols, punt returners. We got 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in halftime. And I believe the Bears are going to receive the second half kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. And that is that's always a dagger when you're down 21-0 and the other team comes out and gets the opening kickoff. So here we are at Thompson Stadium here in Macon, going up against the Rutland Hurricanes, trying to get a good tune-up for next week's showdown at home next Friday night, at home, 7:30, against the Eagles Landing Christian Academy Chargers. And I can tell you what, that team is shaking in their boots right now because they know that we're the ones that can beat them. So make your plans to be there to root on the Bears. We're going to need a packed house.
And look, they haven't lost. They've lost one region game in the last 7 or 8 years. So that's it. That's how good they are. And like we said, they're the measuring stick. We talked about it at the beginning of this game. We talked about it through the first half. They need to finish off this one tonight and go home happy, celebrate, be happy, have a good weekend, come back, good week of practice, but you better be focused because it's a different level of play coming in next week with Eagles Landing. They're the top of the class, and you always you have to always have to aim for somebody. You have to have a goal, right? And the goal is to be at the top of the mountain. And right now, that's where Eagles Landing is. And it's going to take an entire team effort. You're not going to be able to have penalties. You're not going to be able to lose yards. You're not going to be able to muff a punt. You're not going to be able to do things like that if you're going to beat a top-tier team that way.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You're the Bears right now. You're almost on the top of the mountain, but you got to knock off the guy that's standing on the top of the mountain. And when you do, then you're going to have a target on your back. But I tell you what, a lot of things have changed. This has been an unprecedented summer and early fall, actually, for weather. We've had constant temperatures in the 90s, which Georgia High School prohibits teams practicing in certain weathers, heat restrictions with humidity. And a lot of the varsity's practice has been inside. It's been in shells, which is just basically shoulder pads and helmet and shorts. So your whole routine is kind of knocked way out of whack, but that's why you come in here, you want to do everything right, not commit any penalties, and it's just like you've never come off the field in practice.
You got to focus, and that's one of the hardest things. A lot of the times when you have this mindset as a team that you're going on the road and you beat this team 49-7 last year, and you got a big game next week, and it's easy to kind of let your guard down a little bit, so to speak, right? It's easy to say, let's just go, we'll take care of business, no big deal, and we'll move on to the next game. That's not how it works a lot of the times. Those are the ones that come up and kind of bite you in the butt, if you will.
Yep.
Those are the ones that come up and sneak up on you, and all of a sudden it's 21-0, and now it's 21-14 in the third quarter, and because you threw an interception or because you muffed a punt or because you fumbled the ball. You just don't know. So you got to, especially the second half, you got to keep the pedal to the metal, if you will, and you got to keep your foot on the gas to kind of make sure you keep it going and keep that right mindset of you've got to go 100% all the time. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
Well, that's what I look for Coach Winters to do in the second half. He's going to bring his guys out, and they're going to make themselves picture perfect running those plays, which are not a lot of them, but what they run, it's very effective, and it's hard to stop.
Absolutely.
And you've got you throw in a little pass here and there when you need to or when you want to, and that's kind of how the triple option works. And the Hurricanes are about to come back on the field. You got strength and conditioning coach Peter Tongren down there in the end zone warming up the Bears. You got punters getting their last little punts in, and we got about a minute to go before we get going in the second half here.
Well, let's recap the first half possession by possession here. Rutland got the ball the first possession of the game. So you are correct that the Golden Bears will start with the football, which is another reason why that end of the half points would have been huge in the first half, because you score points, halftime, you get the ball back and possibility with a score again. That's going to be an easy 10, 14 points for you. But Rutland took the football the first possession, punted it. Holy Innocents' first possession capped off 31-yard touchdown run by Michael Cox. They go up 7-0. Rutland takes the football back. They have to punt it once again. Holy Innocents again takes it back, and this time Davis runs it in from an 11 yards out to go up 14-0 over the Hurricanes. Hurricanes get the football back. They punt it once again. Some more penalties, really. I mean, they were moving the football on some of these possessions. It just says punt, 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 punt on the scorecard here, but in all actuality, they were moving the football. They had a couple of first downs. They had some momentum. They had a possession in Golden Bears territory. So they had some things go their way, but the real issue, the problem was the penalties that really kind of held them back. The Golden Bears got the football back once again. Hunter Hawk ran it in from a yard out for the Golden Bears as they went up 21-0. Rutland, again, had possession in Holy Innocents territory, down inside the 40-yard line, but just went backwards. They just couldn't get anything done and turned the football over, an interception in the middle of the field. Ronnie Williams comes up with a big interception and runs it back to close to midfield, around the 40-yard line or so, and that's where Holy Innocents took over. They went from the 40 down inside the 15-yard line, and a missed field goal ended the first half, where they had an opportunity to go up 28-0, but they hold a 21-0 lead as we begin getting ready to begin the second half of play, and they're going to start strong, I think, on this first one. They're going to go right back to the heart of that offense, and I think you're going to see Michael Cox get some early touches here to start the first possession of the second half.
Absolutely. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to the Bears JV beating Whitfield Academy yesterday, 14-7. So that's a good win for those guys, and they're clicking right along too. So the middle school 8th grade is also undefeated, 3-0, and it just shows you that with this system, if it's implemented properly and the kids buy into it, and it's run all the way from the middle school to the varsity, it's going to be a great thing. It's so successful, and you got players like Hunter Hawk, the rock of the team, plays offense, defense, special teams, and will do about anything you ask him to. Those kind of guys are the pillar of what Coach Winters is trying to establish here at Holy Innocents.
And you talk about the JV going 3-0. Look, and people say, that's great. It's just JV, but that's the future of the team, right? You got a lot of seniors that are exiting this team this year. Obviously Michael Cox and Davis. That you got a lot of guys that are not going to be here next year that are going to be successful this year. So you look to the JV. You're going to have to fill some spots next year. Especially on the defensive line, offensive line, in the trenches. You're going to have a lot of places to kind of fill those gaps. And if the JV is 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, now you're talking about you're not missing a whole lot when the seniors graduate and you have the younger guys coming up to take their spots.
Well, so to speak, they're in the on-deck circle. They're waiting to step on the field next year, and they're going to have their chance. Just like you said, there's a lot of guys graduating, and this is for the first time in a while, a very senior heavy team, and that's just going to help you down the road when you're a senior laden team and you're looking for that leadership, and you've got it. You don't have to look around going, who's going to be the leader? You've got it. You've got it with these guys, and they have done everything that you could ever ask of them. And the sky's going to be the limit in the playoffs. You know, what we're trying for right now is to get that home field advantage. Number 1 through 8 in the single A private get a home game and a bye. So if you can get one, if you're a number 1 through 8, you're going to get a bye. You're going to get a chance to rest up, study your next opponent, and come into that next week strong and ready to go.
And I think we're all rooting for a home playoff game, a couple of home playoff games.
Yes.
Both for the team and for us personally. I think home playoff games doesn't sound too bad for us.
No, consider
last
year we went to Macon and then we went down to Savannah. So
Oof.
those are a couple. That's about as far as you can go, Savannah in single A private.
Yeah.
Distance-wise.
That's the one you spend a weekend at, and you spend some time on the town if you're going to go down that far.
Yep.
But way down the road here, and we're getting ready to start the third quarter. The Holy Innocents Bears looking to start strong here in the third quarter. Alexander and Felton back deep, and they're going to try to get it off with a bang here as we get in the third quarter. And I think is it 30 points is a running clock?
At the fourth quarter, that is correct.
30 points in the fourth quarter is a running clock, so just something to keep an eye on as well. A couple possessions, couple points here, and Holy Innocents will have that locked up. But first possession, it all comes down possession by possession in a game like this. So again, hot and humid, still hot. It hasn't cooled off a single bit since we got here, and it's not going to the rest of the night. It's going to be this temperature the rest of the night into tomorrow. So more Gatorade, hopefully less cramps as we head in to the second half of play. And Gregory Rutherford will kick it off, and fielded by Felton around the 25-yard line, and he's going to go side to side, and he is going to get taken down, and he gets hit hard. We had a couple of different guys. Jack Felton takes a hard hit over here on the near sideline at the bottom of your screen, and that was Jamarco Hughes on the coverage for the Hurricanes. So the Golden Bears will take over 1st and 10. Their own 29-yard line is where they will start this drive. They got to go 71 yards for some more points.
Here comes quarterback Matt Davis.
Great first half. He had a fantastic first half with his feet. Made a couple of pretty good throws there. Almost had a touchdown at the end of the half as well. But Cox is the deep back.
Looks like Matt Davis is wearing his Johnny Unitas high tops too.
Going back old school, two-man in motion. That's going to be a legal formation, and two different guys went in motion. And I think it was Felton and Dixon both in the backfield. They both had the same motion in the backfield, so it'll be called a false start.
And again, we talked about it at halftime, Nathan. That's something you don't want to do. You want to come out. You want to look sharp. You don't want any penalties to kind of mess with your mind. So let's see what they do here if they can get it right back.
And you got to think they're going to go to Cox here on the early downs to get some of this yard, especially the penalty yards. It was 1st down and 15 for the Golden Bears. Felton in motion. Davis, pitch out to Felton. He has some space out wide if he can get out there, and he can't quite. He had one tackle to break before he turned it upfield and got some yards. He gets tripped up in the backfield. And that was Jamarian Marshall. Comes up and just gets a piece of the ankles of Jack Felton.
Or he would have been off to the races.
He had some space on the far sideline for sure. Just couldn't quite break it.
But he did get back the penalty yardage and another yard. So you got a 2nd and 9, it looks like.
Very manageable now, especially with Cox in the backfield. Davis is going to fake the handoff to Cox and looks like gives it to, is it Felton or Hawk? I couldn't quite see the number.
I think it's Big Hunter Hawk.
And Hunter Hawk gets it up past the 32, up to around the 33, maybe the 34-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd down and around 5 yards. There was an injured Hurricane down on the field, but it looks like he kind of popped up. He just got up a little bit slow. That was Cajun Searcy was the lineman for the Hurricanes. So
And
big 3rd down.
Yep, there you are in that situation again. 3rd and 5, manageable. Bears come up in too tight.
You got to think coming to this far side of the field here, you got all kinds of space if you can get one closeout block. And they do. They pitch out to Felton. And a good block by Leighton Dixon. Felton stumbles a little bit, and he is going to get hit hard. by Otto Foreman. The linebacker comes up with a big hit. Felton kind of stumbled just a little bit there. I think he would have had the first down. He looked like he just stumbled just a little bit. And it'll bring up 4th down and a yard, and no hesitation from Coach Winter at all as Davis stays on the field, and they're going to go for it.
Now, he's got 4th and 1. It's basically Canadian League football. He's going for it.
And this is a big possession really for both teams here in the second half. If you're Rutland, you really want to stop them here on 4th down and get some momentum going into the rest of the half. If you're the Golden Bears, you pick this up, you drain more of that clock and wear down that Hurricane defense. Davis is going to give it to Cox, and he gets hit in the backfield. He's not going to get the first down.
No, he's actually lost a yard on the play.
And that's the first negative play of the night for the Golden Bears, and that was Tyson Royal, the linebacker, coming up and making the big hit on Michael Cox, because that's what you need to stop him in the backfield. And a turnover on downs for the Golden Bears.
So let's see what the Bears can do on defense. Their offense sputtered just a little bit, and let's see if the defense can turn it around and create a turnover, get some losses. And they come out in a stack formation, 2-wide stack.
First down and 10 from the Golden Bears 37, and there's Phelps, lowers that shoulder. He runs really hard out of that backfield, and he gets hit by a few different linemen, and it looks like 56 Hall O'Neill was in there on the tackle, the first man to meet him in the hole, and Phelps falls forward for a gain of about 4 yards.
He ran so hard he ran out of his shoe. He had to come out of the game.
And the backup running back in is Tyson Royal, who we just mentioned on defense for the Hurricanes, back in the backfield now with Thompson.
Yep, that was a 4-yard gain.
They hand it off to him in the backfield. He's going to drag a couple of defenders, but it looks like Michael Cox. That wasn't Michael Cox. I thought I saw 35, and I said, I don't think that's right. And Bo Maxwell in there on the tackle for the Golden Bears.
It looks like the Hurricanes have found something they like. They keep running a little bit off tackle with those big backs back there, and they've got a manageable 3rd and 3. So let's see what they do.
Jesse Phelps once again back in the game for the Hurricanes. 3rd down and about 3.5. Thompson's going to roll out to the right side, give himself some time, throws it upfield and just overthrows his receiver down right inside the 20-yard line, and Cardian on the coverage for the Golden Bears. A good idea for Rutland on offense. Give your quarterback some time, roll him out to the far side of the football field. He really had a receiver. Cardian had some pretty good coverage out there. But Thompson just throws it out over the outstretched arms of Cardian in coverage.
And we do not see a punter coming in for Rutland, so you know they're going for it. It's kind of, they're in no man's land. They're out of field goal range, but to punt it here would be, you never know how if you're going to get the ball back up down 28-0. So here we go, 4th down.
Thompson rolls out right side, same kind of play, getting chased from behind, and he throws it downfield. His receiver slips and almost picked off. And they're wanting a flag in the secondary, but it looks like he just kind of stumbled over his own feet there and just kind of fell down on accident.
They're calling, fans are yelling for a flag, and so are the coaches, but when you get those feet tangled up, it's considered incidental contact. There's not a lot anybody can do, and it's not anybody's fault. It could be just as much of the receiver's fault as it is the DB.
Well, the DB and the receiver, a lot of the times the fans don't understand a lot of the times is that they both have the right to the football.
Exactly.
And so just because one's on offense doesn't mean he has more of a right to the football. Now, he can't get touched before he hits it, of course, but that was incidental contact on that one, and the ball goes right back to the Golden Bears.
Exactly. That was a big stand by that defense, and now Matt Davis is bringing them up. 1st and 10 Bears at their 33.
Davis under center this time, fakes it to Cox, and he's going to keep it himself. And maybe that was one where you keep it to Cox on that one. He hasn't got a second half touch so far in the first couple of possessions. And on the tackle was Jamarian Marshall.
Looks like he lost about a yard on that play too.
So we talked about the first half, no negative plays for the Golden Bears. They come out in the second half, they have 2 and 4 plays. So just kind of something to keep an eye on. Rutland's defensive line, we thought they would tire out in the second half. So far, they're actually getting some pressure in the backfield. And again, it's all about adjustments, the Golden Bears. It's all about adjustments. How are you going to adjust on the interior of that offensive line? Davis once again under center. Cox the deep man. Davis, long snap count, and he's going to delay the handoff to Hunter Hawk. Hawk's going to take a couple of tacklers with him. He's going to get a few out to around the 35-yard line. So it'll be third down and around 7, maybe even 8 yards. And Tyson Royal again on the tackle for the Hurricanes. He's having a good second half so far on defense and on offense for Rutland.
He's the leader, the middle of that defense without question.
This game is being played between the 30 and the 40-yard line in the Golden Bear territory the entire second half, it seems like.
All third quarter.
And third down and 7 for Ole Innocents. And pitch right side. Felton doesn't have a whole lot of space. He tries the stiff arm one, and he gets dragged down out of bounds, and a late flag is going to be called. And that might be either a horse collar or a late hit, depending on what they call. That was Tyson Royal in on the tackle again for the Hurricanes.
You know, you could take your choice. You could take a horse collar, a face mask, or a late hit.
And a little bit of jawing on the field there between Royal and Felton. And we'll see what they call. He was dragged down out of bounds very late, but he also got dragged down by the collar. So it just kind of depends on what you want to call.
A new rule this year with Georgia High School is the horse collar is when the tackler with his hand grabs behind the shoulder pads up by the neck. Now the new rule is also if he grabs the nameplate of the jersey, that's considered horse collar too. They're trying to alleviate any of those injuries where you're pulled down from behind and you get your legs caught under you. So hats off to Georgia High School and National Federation for implementing these rules to make the game safer.
And I immediately think of the Terrell Owens injury that season when he was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he got dragged down from behind and just absolutely snapped his leg.
Yes.
And that's what you want to avoid, especially in a 17, 18-year-old kid.
Exactly.
Terrell Owens can come back because he has top of the line things, but in high school they don't have that kind of technology. So they officially call a personal foul. So 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The Golden Bears into Hurricane territory around the 49.5 or so yard line. First possession in Hurricane territory in the third quarter.
And they're running that heavy right.
Dixon in motion. This time they're going to give it to Cox. And this time they're really starting to hit Cox really low and starting to take his legs out from under him here in the second half. Maybe Emil Adams was on that defensive line tackle for the Hurricanes. There was a couple of them. They got him real low right when he got the ball. He got about a half a yard, maybe a yard on that first down play. So it'll be second down and 9 for the Golden Bears. And it looks like they're going to force, maybe his helmet came off. I'm not 100% sure. Tyson Royal having to come out of the football game here, the linebacker for the Hurricanes. And the man replacing him is going to be Marquez Stallings. So they take a linebacker out and they put a defensive back in his place. So they go a little bit smaller here on defense to the Hurricanes, but it'll be second down and 9 for the Golden Bears. Davis under center once again. Felton in motion. And a false start is going to be called on the Golden Bears. And real sloppy, really on both sides of the football here for both teams to start this third quarter.
And, you know, that's one thing that drives coaches just totally mad is penalty. You come out in the second half, you got 3 penalties already. You're going backwards instead of forwards. So, you know, Coach Winter's going to straighten that out real quick.
So 5 minutes, 17 seconds left here in the third quarter, and we've had a whole lot of nothing going on in this third quarter, both offensively and defensively.
Yep.
The ball hasn't really moved, but from a 20-yard span here on one side of the football field and back into their own territory go the Golden Bears. It'll be second down and a long way now, second down and 14. Felton in motion. They give it to Cox up the middle. They fake it to Cox. See, I gotta be more patient. I talked about patience on the field. Davis keeps it, and he's going to get taken down in the backfield for another loss, and now you really put yourself in a tough spot. It's going to be third down, and I would say around 18 yards. Christian Golden, the man on the stop in the backfield. Good tackle by the Hurricanes on the defense. So they're going to say third down and 19. And if you're the Golden Bears, this is not what you want. This is not your forte on offense.
Exactly. We don't want to be in this kind of situation, and but we can get out of it. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve.
They really spread the defense out a little wide, covering the outside, and Davis is going to roll out to the right side, getting chased from behind. He's just going to tuck it, make one guy miss, but then he gets hit by 3 or 4 different Hurricanes. He gets some of the penalty yardage back, but that'll be 4th down and around 9 yards or so. And Otto Foreman, we've mentioned his name a couple of times on defense tonight for the Hurricanes. He's come up and made a hit on Matt Davis. So Holy Innocents looking to, we'll see here what they do, but it's going to be 4th down and around 9 yards. They are going to punt.
And you know the great thing about it, this is the first time we've seen the punter all night for the Bears, so you know they're doing a good job when you only see the punter one time.
And he is a good one.
But Marshall Nichols is in there. He'll be punting from the 49 of the Hurricanes.
You want to talk about switching field position. This guy is one of the best there is in high school football.
And we have an offside penalty lining up in the neutral zone on us. And that's going to back us up 5 more yards. So, again, like Nathan said, it's been some sloppy play right now, and you can tell those coaches over there do not like this because this is uncharacteristic of us.
This is, and your coach Winter, you can see he's not very happy over there on the sidelines right now. He's it's one of those things where this is the last thing, you said it, this is the last thing you want to come out in the second half on the road. And a beautiful high arcing punt, and they're going to let it go, and that is going to take a beautiful bounce, a Golden Bear bounce all the way down to the 6-yard line. And we talked about it. It might not be a bad thing sometimes to put him out on the football field to punt the football.
You know, what a weapon. When you can punt from your own 40 and put them inside the 5-yard line, that is the offensive coordinator's worst nightmare right there.
And it's an underrated part of the game. Special teams is an underrated part of football. It's just as important. We try to tell people when you play or when you're a coach or when you're anything, you try to say that special teams, all 3 facets, you got to win all 3 facets, right? Offense, defense, special teams. And when you have a punter that can, I mean, really he can punt the ball 60 yards, 70 yards, I mean, and just change the entire aspect of the game. And it's so underrated. It's such an underrated part of the game. And so he did it just there, flipped the field down at their own 5-yard line.
Fumble on the play. Bears recover at the 4-yard line.
And?
Yep, the quarterback misplayed it, and then the running back came up to grab it and kicked it with his foot, and it looks like Griffin McInnes on the recovery.
And man, if we mentioned his name tonight, I would say defensive MVP is Griffin McInnes tonight. He has made some huge plays.
Yes.
And on top of it right there, literally and figuratively, he jumps on the football and recovers it for the Golden Bears.
Now, you talk about something that really will get an offensive coordinator exactly for Rutland. You got the ball, you've held them 1st and 10, and you fumble on your own 5.
Ugh. That'll grind your gears. I think that'll
yes.
that'll rile you up just a little bit.
That'll grind the gears with no oil in there.
Yeah. And this is Michael Cox zone, right? I mean, you got to think this is the area where you give it to the big fella and let him pound it into the end zone.
Well, look what they've got. They've got the old Nebraska power eye going, and they're going to hand it to Hunter Hawk, and he's going to power himself in there for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Golden Bears. Hunter Hawk goes in from 6 yards out for a touchdown, as the Golden Bears really were gifted an opportunity right there. And a very short field, and if you're Rutland, you can't expect your defense to hold a team that's 5th in the state last year and running the football out from 5 yards out.
And that was like I said, that was the old Nebraska power eye right there. And they, instead of handing it to the deep back, they handed it to the power back, and he followed the other 2 backs right through the hole. And there it is, a touchdown, puts us up 27-0 with Peter Wanke on for the extra point.
And the extra point is up, and it's good.
Yep.
So Peter Wanke perfect on extra points on the season, as the Golden Bears go up 28-0 as they were gifted a fumble, and they recovered it at the 5-yard line. One play, Hunter Hawk, he has 2 touchdowns here tonight on offense. And you think it's Michael Cox time, and right when we say that, Hunter Hawk, they just give him the football. You almost use Michael Cox as a decoy down there inside the 5 or 10-yard line. Everybody thinks he's going to get the football, and there's Hunter Hawk ready and willing. and he stumbles and rumbles into the end zone.
And as a coach, you'd like to think that the fumble takes away the pain of those penalties when you're on offense, but it doesn't. I mean, you're getting 5-yard offside penalties and holding penalties. That just is not what you want to see as a play caller.
No, it's tough because you're happy you're up 28-0 on the road, but you think you can be up 42-0, or you think you can be up even more, and there's always something to work on going into next week, and that's what you have to start looking at, right? You have to start looking at, you have to limit the penalties, you have to limit the turnovers, you can't get negative yards. Things like that are very important as you head in as a coach, and I'm sure Coach Winter knows that.
Well, with the triple option offense, the thing about the triple option is it takes up a lot of the ball game, and then all of a sudden this third quarter seems like it's lasted 2 days. And now Waunakee did a good job of kicking out of the end zone, so the Hurricanes will get it 1st and 10 at their 20. So let's see what they've got up their sleeve for us.
And as you said, 1st and 10 at the 20. 7th possession of the game here for Rutland. And they do not have a whole lot of offensive yards here tonight. They have a lot of penalty yards, but tonight the Golden Bears defense done pretty good job so far containing. They've gotten help with some penalties, but they've also made some good plays. Hunter Hawk from that linebacker spot, but Connor McGinnis really, we've talked about him before, he's made an impact on that defensive line. And they fake it to Phelps. Thompson's going to keep it, head to the sideline. He'll pick up a first down and get chased out of bounds. And it'll be first down Hurricanes. And Ronnie Williams chases him from his linebacker spot out of bounds.
And I tell you, Coach Winter is going to be looking for perfection from here on out. He may excuse a little bit, but with the Elka coming up next week, he wants perfection. And fans, we got to pack that stadium full.
It needs to be loud and proud, but if you can't make it, you can always watch the webcast next week for sure.
Absolutely.
We'll have all the action here for you on the Golden Bear Network. And they get it out to Nico Sandifer, a freshman wide receiver playing some youth here are the Hurricanes. And knocking him down was Leighton Dixon at around the 40-yard line. So hurry-up offense for the Hurricanes. We saw it a little bit in the first half, and then they kind of went away from it. Now they're back to it. And they're going to hand it off to Phelps once again. Oh, nope. Thompson's going to keep it. Sheds a couple of tacklers with a stiff arm, and he's going to get hit hard. He's going to get hit hard by Hunter Hawk. But not after a pretty good gain there by Tristan Thompson.
You've got to wonder if there's a tackle that Hunter Hawk is not on. I mean, he's always there around the ball, and that's what you want out of good defensive players. If you're around the ball, that thing pops out, you pick it up, you run, scoop, and score.
Not to mention he scored 2 touchdowns on offense tonight as well.
Oh, yes.
And a fake pass. They get it out to the wide receiver, and a diving tackle attempt by Leighton Dixon, I believe, out on the corner. And Landon Cardian will push him out of bounds. And that was Christian Golden once again. We've seen him on a couple of long routes. Has some speed there, but just couldn't quite get away. But it'll be second down around 7 after 3 on first down. Thompson again, shotgun formation. Phelps is deep.
Shotgun, jet formation. We got a penalty.
And it looks like it's going to be false start on the offense. And once again, Rutland moves the football a couple of times, and then backpedaling they go with another penalty.
You know, that could be a sign of a young team, too. They're not versed, and they're making mistakes when they shouldn't, and, they'll grow out of it. They're a young team. They're improved, and they're playing in a hard region, too. This football in Middle Georgia is good football.
Down to 1:28 here in the third quarter. Second down and 12 after a first down for the Hurricanes. That'll be second down and 12. It looks like they have some younger players out on the field. We've seen freshmen and sophomore out on the roster for the Hurricanes, so they're young. Thompson's going to fake it, and he is going to get brought down in the backfield all the way back at the 35-yard line. Great defensive pressure in the backfield by Spencer Getz and Sam Aiken, both in the backfield. I think Aiken got to him first. Spencer Getz came up to clean it up. And down goes Tristan Thompson. And now you thought a second and 12 was a problem. Now you're facing a third down and a long way.
And the Bears give Spencer Getz a little relief and bring in Kadar Henry. He's lined up at one of the ends, and they're back in that gun formation.
Speed rushing time here for Henry as it's 3rd down and 20. Man in motion. And they get it to him in the backfield. Great move out in the backfield. A couple of missed tackles. And he goes down after a gain of about 2 yards. And he is hit.
Tripped up.
By Kadar Henry, tripped up in the backfield. And that might end the 3rd quarter.
So Kadar Henry pays dividends his first time in the game. Makes that, trips him up on the quarterback scramble. And we got number 31 in punt formation, Gregory Rutherford. And like Nathan said, they may just let that clock run out. We got 5 seconds left in the 3rd.
And I believe that is what we'll do. So, well, the 3rd quarter, as we enter the 4th quarter, let's say 28-0. Holy Innocents up on Rutland, but that 3rd quarter was a lot of sloppy play on both sides for both teams. A lot of that quarter was played between really the 50 and the 30-yard line down here in Golden Bear territory, and Holy Innocents got a little bit of a break, went into Hurricane territory, and then came back with a penalty. Had to punt the football, but luckily we have a preseason All-State punter and one of the best punters there is, and he switches field positions, gets it down inside the 10-yard line, around the 5 or 6-yard line. First play, Tristan Thompson fumbles the football. Connor McGinnis jumps on it for the 300th time we've called his name tonight. And one play later, Hunter Hawk dives in for a 5-yard touchdown, and that's where we stand now, 28-0.
You said a mouthful, brother. That's exactly what it's been. So let's see if the Bears had 3 yards to go for their last touchdown. Let's see if they can get a little mojo going and put together a long drive. That's what they're known for.
You can take up about 12 minutes on this 4th quarter clock, and we'll get out of here 35-0 and head back up the road a little bit. So we'll see what happens as we enter the 4th quarter. Felton back deep once again for the Golden Bears. We have 12 minutes to decide this one. Holy Innocents with a commanding 28-0 lead. Entering the 4th quarter of play on a hot and humid night down here in Macon. Gregory Rutherford once again. Back to punt it. And end over end kick, and that's going to take a hurricane bounce inside the 30, now inside the 25, down to around the 23, 24-yard line, and that's where Holy Innocents will take over possession.
Looks like Joseph Kreitzer down the ball. That's going to give the Bears a 1st and 10 at their 24. So let's see what Matt Davis and company can do with the ball this time.
And you have to think.
You keep going back to the Michael Cox show, and it's got to happen. I mean, the curtain's got to be open for him to run.
And he hasn't had a lot of touches here in the second half. I would say maybe 2 or 3 carries.
Not at all.
So far in the second half. And this is what happened the first game of the season when they were up 21-0, 28-0. They kind of laid back and used him as a decoy a little bit and rested him because you know he's going to be getting the football probably 20-plus times next week. Davis is going to go down the middle of the football field, and he has his receiver but overthrows him by about a yard.
That was James Gleason on the pass. On the attempted pass, and we got a flag down. We may have interference. He looked like he was all over his back.
And we will wait for the official call. Coach Eason for the Hurricanes not too happy.
And Rutland's walking that way towards the flag. So, and that's a good call on 1st down. They're expecting the Michael Cox show, and all of a sudden you get this tight end release down the seam, and very effective. He was behind him. It looked like the defensive back just kind of grabbed a hold of his back a little bit and slowed him down. So
they will call a pass interference, so it'll be a 15-yard penalty. And that'll move up the Golden Bears up to around the 39-yard line. So a good idea on 1st down, as you said, is a good idea on 1st down to kind of try to trick them just a little bit. And 15 yards added to the Golden Bears start of the drive, so it'll be 1st down and 10 from their own 39. 28-0, Golden Bears lead over the Hurricanes. And Davis Fakes the handoff, fakes the pitch, and now he'll keep it upfield, make an inside run, and now he bounces outside and will run out of bounds for a gain of about 11 and another Golden Bear first down.
You talk about a smart player. Matt Davis is. I mean, he is the quintessential option quarterback. He knows when to take a lick, and he knows when to get out of bounds and not take a lick. And that time, he bounced in, he bounced out, he got the first down, he got out of bounds, and didn't have a lick of dirt on him. So that was a good job, and that gives the Bears another first down.
And you think decision-making, I really can sum up him in decision-making because in the triple option, you have so many mental decisions that you have to make. You have so many different plays that you can possibly make on one play, and he really makes the right decision, I would say, a lot of the time here. So he fakes it to Cox once again. This time again, he's going to keep it. He'll get down to the 45, so a gain of 5. So back-to-back runs by Davis. And 15 yards on those 2 runs. And Otto Foreman once again with the tackle for the Hurricanes coming up from his linebacker spot.
You know, the thing about this offense, too, everybody in the stadium thinks Michael Cox is going to get the ball. And all of a sudden, Matt Davis has got it, and it's fooling the cameras, it's fooling us. And he's trotting down the field for another 15-yard gain.
It's a big decoy in the backfield. Michael Cox here in the second half. And Davis this time, he's going to fake it to Cox again, pitch it out to Dixon on the right side, and he's going to get pushed out about 2 yards short of the first down. So it'll be third down and maybe 2 yards. And he is shoved out once again by Otto Foreman, making a lot of plays here in this second half for that Hurricane defense. So this is the methodical drive that we were seeing in the first half from the Golden Bears. They're kind of getting back to it a little bit here. They got a little help with the penalty, but they were able to pick up a couple of first downs, and it'll be third down at around 2 yards for the Golden Bears.
This 41-yard drive could take 10 minutes. It could take 10 seconds.
And they just power right up the middle, and that's power running football. And that is going to be Michael Cox. Finally gets the football on a critical third down. And you got to think we're not going to see too much more of Michael Cox here in the fourth quarter. Crowd still into it here at Thompson Stadium in Macon. The Rutland Band just diagonal left to us down right below us here, and they are loud and proud, fans getting into it. So good atmosphere for high school football down here at Thompson Stadium in Macon. They give it to Michael Cox. He gets dragged down by 2 different defenders, gets inside the 35-yard line down to around the 34. So a gain of about 6 for Michael Cox. He's brought down by Denzel Washington. That's a good name, Denzel Washington. He's done some things.
Filming a movie yesterday, out playing high school football today.
There, look at that. Man of many talents. Second down. And they're going to say 5 on the scoreboard. I think it's closer to 6. Davis under center once again. And they're going to give it to Cox again. And he drags about 4 different guys down inside the 30, down to around the 28, 29-yard line, right at that marker. Maybe a little short of that marker. But he's going to get brought down by, again, Otto Foreman, all over the place on defense. And this is the drive. This is what you want if you're Coach Winter right here. This is the drive that you want. Kind of taking a lot of time off the clock, already taking 3 minutes almost off the clock here. And third down and manageable will be third down and 1. And Cox's white jersey is nice and dirty there in the backfield. And Davis is going to drop back deep to throw the ball and overthrows his receiver near the goal line on 3rd and 1. You have to think he's going to go for it. They're going to go for it on 4th down. They were just trying to.
Oh yeah, they were
just trying to make something big happen on that one.
Trying to get a quickie and a cheapie.
And man down in the end zone. A Golden Bear is down in the end zone.
Matt Davis had him open there for a second. He just overthrew him just a bit. Looks like we got a cramp.
Can't quite see who it is, and we talked about it. When was it going to kick in? A cramp. And we have a Rutland player down and a Golden Bear player down. The Rutland player down around the 20-yard line. Holy Innocent player in the end zone getting stretched out by the trainer down there. You have to think that that's and those are hurt. Those are painful. I don't care what anybody says. Those are absolutely painful. It doesn't matter what you do. You punch it. You eat some bananas. You got all kinds of stuff to do, but they just don't always help you.
Well, The old remedy is drinking pickle juice too. So a lot of people don't know that, but I tell you what, if you have cramping bad enough, especially in the rib cage area, it can actually break a rib. It can collapse them on a break. And that looked like it was
Christian Pageant, right?
That was Christian Pageant, yes.
And then 28 for the Hurricanes is Joseph Kreitzer, the linebacker. He went down with a cramp as well. He got helped off, so they'll get stretched out on the sidelines. I think they will be just okay. And 4th down and 1 for the Golden Bears.
You know, it didn't matter if it was 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. Coach Winter's still going to go for that.
And maybe you think about keeping Matt Davis right up the middle here, see if you can get any kind of push from the middle of that offensive line, just to kind of sneak at you. Only about a half a yard, not even a full yard, and they're going to give it to the up back, and it might be Hunter Hawk again.
That's big Hunter Hawk for the 1st down.
He gets 2.5 when they need a half, and another Golden Bear 1st down.
And that's going to be a timeout, Bears.
Holy Innocents will take a timeout here. They've controlled possession so far here in the 4th quarter. They've taken up all 3 minutes on the clock. And this is the type of drive, if you were Coach Winter, that you won. It just wears down the defense. You already seen a couple of cramps here, but it just wears down that defensive line. And you could tell that they came out with a bang, did Rutland in that 3rd quarter. They started to get some pressure in the backfield a little bit. But again, it went back to adjustments. You had to go back and say, look, offensive line, you're going to have to open up some space here. You're going to have to give us some time, give us some holes. And so far, late in the 3rd quarter into this 4th quarter, they've really started to kind of open up some holes and move the chains as Coach Winter wants.
Well, a great thing by Coach Winter, calling a timeout, bringing his troops over. He's now brought the starters out, and he's got the backups in. He's got William Wright leading the offense at quarterback, Chandler Ketchup, Joe Hinkson back there, and Hayes Reifenberger. So Joey Holliday's out there at receiver. He's got those guys in there to get some experience. Good job.
And it's definitely a great way to do it. William Wright, the freshman quarterback, under center for the Golden Bears. And they hand it off to the up back. Gets a little bit of a push, falls down about 2 yards or so inside the 25, down to around the 24.
You know, I had the privilege of coaching William Wright, and that's a kid that's a smart football player. Loves the game, good quarterback. He's going to come into his own. He's going to be another Matt Davis at some point.
And a lot of time to develop as he only is a freshman coming up. So a young team coming in next year as well. But the Golden Bears with 8:30 and counting here on the 4th quarter clock, they have 2nd down and 8. And that looks like the defensive line jumped a little bit. Must have not entered the neutral zone here, but a good push from that young offensive line. And they get it inside the 20 down to around the 17-yard line, maybe the 18. The Golden Bears. And it'll be 3rd down and around 2 to pick up the 1st down.
How many times have we said that tonight? 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2.
It's the key to the game.
What a great situation for those Bears coaches.
Especially when you got the young guys in there, moving the football with the young guys. That's what you want to see.
Yep.
Good way to end the game possibly here for the Golden Bears. So 3rd down and 2 from inside the 20-yard line. Wright hands it off. Nowhere to go this time. They swallow him up. And maybe gains a half a yard, if that.
And Rutland has got all 11 men between the tight ends. So they know what's coming. We do too. And we just keep moving it. So we got a 4th and 2 now.
I was going to say, when do you let the young kid try to throw one down here? I know you're not on 4th down and 2. But maybe you try it on 2nd or 3rd down if you pick up a 1st down. Let's see what the young fella has. Well, as a freshman, surprise him.
The great thing on that other sideline, too, the Bears coaches are looking at that clock, and that thing's just ticking away.
Yep, that's absolutely correct, and it'll be 4th down and 2. Man in motion. Wright's going to swing it out wide.
Ketchup. He's going to get the first, too.
He gets the first. He does run out of bounds, but he does pick up the 1st down depending on where he stepped out of bounds. They're marking him short of the 15, so it might depend on the spot. It's around the 15.5-yard line or so, and it might depend on the spot.
Yeah, I think they're going to measure it.
'Cause it looks pretty even with that marker.
think he's got it.
I think he's got it too. That's a long way to look.
You got a Rutland player down on all fours looking at seeing what he's got.
That's Tyson Royal again. We've talked about him a bunch. And they're going to bring the chain gang about 50 yards across the field here.
The longest run in sports from one sideline to another.
That's right. All three, the referee all getting some exercise in from that other sideline. And we'll see what the measurement, it's a big measurement.
Tyson Royal for the Hurricanes is going to tell us what it is.
We'll check his reaction here on the sideline. And they're going to say first down.
First down Bears.
And what a big, that's a big play. I know it's 28-0, but you get some of the young guys some more offensive snaps and offensive plays here, and more importantly, that clock just ticks and ticks and ticks. So William Wright will bring the offense back out. They're going to get at least 3 more downs. We have about 7 minutes left here on this fourth quarter clock.
And look who's in at quarterback now, Donovan Johnson.
And we have some speed for Donovan Johnson here. Again, a sophomore coming in, and he just doesn't look like a sophomore when he's out there on that field. He plays much, much older and much faster than that.
Not at all. You're absolutely correct.
So we'll see what Donovan Johnson has. He's under center, man in motion, and he's going to fake the pitch and just take it himself, and he's going to try to fall forward. A lot of bodies flying everywhere. He gets about a half a yard, maybe a full yard on first down. It'll be second down and 9 for the Golden Bears. And again, that clock just keeps ticking, ticking, ticking as we down inside 6.5 minutes now on the fourth quarter clock.
And that band is so close, I feel like we're part of it.
We do seem right in the middle.
They are almost in the press box, Nathan.
They are. They're still into it. They don't look at the scoreboard. They're still showing their pride here for.
And that's what high school football is all about. You cheer from the opening kickoff to the final whistle.
And the coach just came over. It looks like he said something to the band. I'm not exactly sure what it was here, but nonetheless, it'll be second down and around 9 for the Golden Bears at around the 15-yard line. And Wright back in at quarterback. He's going to hand it right up the gut. And he'll hand it off to Joe Hinkson. Runs straight ahead for I don't even know if he gets a yard, probably right at the line of scrimmage. But again, taking some more time off that clock. We're under 6 minutes to go now. And it'll be third down and 10.
You know, that whole squad that's on the field right now, that was the middle school team last year. And boy, do they look good right now.
Really moving the football right. Again, hands it off right up the gut to Hinkson. He'll get brought down right away by the interior of that Hurricane defense.
I believe we got Peter Warnke coming in, so he is going to attempt a field goal.
I think that's a good idea. Get some more practice, give him a chance to make up for that one that he just missed earlier that was wide left before halftime there.
Absolutely. You got to have a confident kicker going into these pressure-packed games.
And he looks to put the Golden Bears up 31-0. The snap is good, the hold is good, the kick looks good.
And it
is good. It's a beautiful kick by Peter Warnke. They go up 31-0 to the Golden Bears as we now have 4:57.
Beautiful 35-yard kick, split the uprights.
And that's what you want to see. That's a good way to end that long drive that felt like it just took forever here in the fourth quarter. They take about 7 minutes off the clock on that drive and get a field goal at the end of it. So not a bad way to end that drive at all.
No, and we're about at the average of what the Bears score. They average anywhere from 28 to 31 points a game, and if they hold Rutland to no points, that'll be their second shutout of the season. So that defense is playing well, and Coach Winter's got that offensive group right on target.
And after kind of a sloppy third quarter, they seem to kind of zip up the jacket a little bit here in the fourth quarter and kind of play a little more focused, and the young guys come in and they really do well and run the offense and run a couple of more minutes off the clock there as well.
You know, you never know if coming out of halftime those guys were looking ahead to next week. It's only natural to do that because you've got the #1 team in the state coming in, who you want to knock off the throne. So let's see what happens.
And anything can happen at any time here as Rutland muffs the kick at the 5-yard line. He picks it up himself, has some space, and then he gets hit hard. Donovan Johnson in there with a big hit. It looked like Nico Sandifer had some space there. He made a couple of moves, and then all of a sudden Donovan Johnson wasn't even a form tackle. He just kind of shoulder blocked him like a wrestling move and just knocked him right to the ground with a big hit around the 25-yard line.
He basically pancaked him, so it's always good to have a little syrup on the pancakes.
I like it. 4:50 left to go here in this fourth quarter. And again, some young guys on defense as well. Kadar Henry back in the game at one of those defensive end spots for the Golden Bears. Made a play last possession on defense. So we'll see the Golden Bears can make one more stop here before heading home. Quarterback still in. They fake it to Phelps. He's going to keep it himself and has a big lead blocked by number 75. And then Tristan Thompson, the quarterback, takes it wide. And Keandre Wisby, we talked about him earlier, only a sophomore. And he looks every bit of 6'4", 6'5" out there, 250 plus pounds. Very big kid. And he pulled from that right tackle spot to lead Thompson on the left side for that run.
Looks like the Hurricanes are lined up in that trips right, tight end trips on the right side.
Shotgun formation. Thompson hands the ball off to Phelps. He's going to get tackled right at that first down marker. I think he's got the first down. I know Kadar Henry was in there as part of the tackle. Couldn't quite see who hit him first. I think it was William Willis. And Phelps does pick up a first down.
And Landon Cardian has exited the game, and what a game he's had, fans. Hayes Reifenberger comes in for him, but that Landon has been all over the field all night long. He deserves a little rest.
Good couple of plays on offense. Made a big catch down here inside the 20 in the first half as well on a Matt Davis play. And Phelps drags a defender here for the Golden Bears, and I think it was number 45.
That was James Gleason actually on the tackle. His number got changed earlier in the season, and he was moved to tight end, and he's also a linebacker too. But James is one of those players too that's excelled in this system. Great player, great team player. It's good to see him doing well.
And a big tackle there as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Thompson and the Hurricanes picking up a couple of first downs here, and they fake it to him again. Thompson runs it back inside, has some space. Lead blocker, and he's going to get ripped down by Maxwell in the defensive backfield. And the band loving that one here right below us. Once again, they don't look at the score. They're loving that play by Tristan Thompson. Good hit by Bo Maxwell to bring him down. So the clock will temporarily stop here as they move the chains. And they're going to hand it off to Phelps once again. And Phelps trying to get dragged down from behind. Takes a couple of guys with him inside the 40. And he's going to get down to around the 38-yard line. And Chandler Ketchup in there, the freshman, on the tackle for the Golden Bears.
Got a timeout on the field for an injured player.
And looks like it's a... They're saying he has to come off the field. He didn't want to come off the field necessarily, but he is coming off the field, and it looks like replacing him will be Malachi Ivory, the young sophomore running back. So 2:38, fourth quarter clock. Rutland in Golden Bear territory, trying to put some points on the board. The Golden Bears would love nothing more than to shut them out for a complete game here. And we'll see what happens as Thompson once again, and we're going to have a false start, I believe, on the Hurricanes. And you hate to kind of keep, saying the same thing over and over again, playing the same song. But they do something well, Rutland, and they just back themselves up with some penalties even this late into the game. So it'll be 2nd down and 12 now after the penalty. Thompson takes the snap, hands it off to Phelps right up the middle, and he's going to get some yards and inside the 40, back originally where the line of scrimmage was before the penalty. Inside the 40, round to the 38, William Willis comes up with the tackle again. Good to see him staying in the game, getting some reps. I know he's had some injury issues the first couple of games, so good to see him back and play until the end here as we are under 2 minutes from this game ending. And again, Holy Innocent would just love to just contain a shutout here on the road.
Exactly. That's what they're trying to do.
That's what you play for here. And Thompson takes the snap again. He's going to fake it, has a man wide open, and he drops the pass. And just wide open. He had 10 or 15 yards between him and an defender. It was a good play, action play from Thompson.
It drew the defensive backs up.
And that's tough.
That's the longest walk in sports from the end zone when you've dropped a ball back to the sideline.
And that is tough. It's about a 40-yard touchdown pass. Negated, and another, it looks like penalty is going to be called. False start on Rutland. So they will move back 5 more yards. Sometimes when you're so open, you get a little nervous.
Exactly.
You get a little nervous.
Exactly.
And that he's not the only one that has happened to. Let me just say that out loud before. So
he knew he was walking in the end zone. Nobody was near him, and that's what puts the pressure on you. All of a sudden, that thing falls through your arms. Somebody coated it up with Crisco oil.
That's what happens sometimes when you're that open. Sometimes you think about it too much, and you think about scoring a touchdown, and all your friends and family are watching you in the stands, and you just drop the football. It happens to everyone. At least one time in their life, you drop a pass. So it's not the end of the story for him. But Golden Bears looking to conserve this shutout here. Thompson faces some pressure and then gets brought down on a fumble. Golden Bears are going to recover the football at around the 45-yard line, and that was Kadar Henry in there, and Joey Holiday, a freshman, coming in, making a big play on defense for the Golden Bears. Once again, Rutland had something going, a couple of penalties, and then a turnover, and that's how this one is going to end. You have to think that the Golden Bears just going to maybe take a couple of knees here. They might run it out, but one way or the other, most likely this one's going to end at 31-0 here on the road.
And it's good to see Joey Holiday making some good plays. His dad is on the staff, 15-year NFL veteran, so it's good to see that. And William Wright is brought down hard in the backfield. Looked like a little fumble on there, but again, there's 1:23 left in the game. We just want to get out of here without getting anybody hurt. Let's get on the bus and go home.
Yeah, and it looks like when he took that snap, I think he tried to turn a little too quickly and just kind of fumbled it a little bit to the ground, was able to pick it back up, but got hit pretty hard.
You got that right.
And about a minute left to go here in this fourth quarter. And it looks like right this time gets the handoff off clean, and it gets right back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard lost on that play. And we have maybe one more play before this one might be over here in Macon. And the Golden Bears, another strong performance, start the season 3-0. 3-0 on the season, leading up to a battle next Friday with Eagles Landing. And runs out of bounds to stop the clock there for the Golden Bears, and they will have to punt the football.
And fans, on behalf of Nathan, I thank him for having me as his color commentator this week. This is Coach Gaines, and we ask you next week, let's pack the house at Riverwood against Eagles Landing Christian Academy and see if we can knock off the King.
And that is that's going to be, we can't stress enough how important of a game that is for these kids and the coaches and the community and the school. It's a game that you need to be at, and if you're not there, I urge you to listen to the webcast as well, the Golden Bear Network. I urge you to listen to that as well because it's going to be such a – and what a punt, just about saved from going into the end zone. But they are going to say touchback. So
that's another 50-plus yard punt for Marshall Nichols.
And we really expect nothing less, to be honest with you, when he's on the football field. And one play, and we should be out of here. We got about 10 seconds on the clock. But, yeah, it's been it was a fun night. It was a good game. A long drive to get here, of course, for everybody. But well worth it to watch these team and these coaches come up with another victory and really go 3-0 on the season, where you kind of expected a victory in some of them. You were favored in two of them, but the second game of the season is one against Hebron that's up in the air. That's a game you lost by a couple of touchdowns a year ago, and it shows the improvement of this team winning 28-21.
Well, we haven't seen 3-0 since I believe 2009. When the team went to the quarterfinals and lost to Clinch County. So this is a great start for Coach Winter and his troops. And again, next week is gonna really loom big. So fans, this is Coach Gaines signing off saying, pack the house, pack the house. Thanks so much.
Big important game next week, guys, for Coach Gaines. And this is Nathan Griotti on the Golden Bear Network. We'll see you next Friday for Eagles Landing and Holy Innocents.